What's going on, you guys? Nicola Maserati here. Today I am super excited because I'm going to be doing my very first After Effects tutorial on this channel where I teach you guys how to use the 3D camera tracker and how to attach anything you want to a wall. But before we get into it, let's run that intro. Alright guys, like I said, today I am going to be teaching you how to attach anything you want to a wall in After Effects using the 3D camera tracker. But before we get into After Effects, if you enjoy this kind of content and you want to see more of it, please make sure you hit the subscribe button below and also make sure you hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm. Alright, let's get into After Effects. Alright guys, we are in Adobe After Effects right now and I've created a composition. That composition is 1920 by 1080 and I've set the duration to 30 seconds. I'm also going to rename this 3D camera tracking tutorial. Also going to bring my clip in. This is my clip from the garage. This is the one that you saw a little bit earlier. This was for a real estate shoot that I did, I think it was last week. And I thought this clip would be perfect because I'm moving forward in space, not going too crazy, and we have the walls on each side. So I thought this would be perfect for the tutorial. So when you're looking for footage or when you're shooting and you want to do something like that, if you can find an alleyway or if you can find a garage like this, or just something along those lines, those are going to be the most ideal places that you kind of want to shoot. So before we do anything, we're going to cut this clip down. So if you don't know how to do that, I'll show you right now. If you double click it, you're going to see that it opens up the clip into a layer, and I'm just going to scrub through here until I find the place where I want to start. So I want to start about there. I'm going to click this here. I want to go, and then I'm going to end it right about here. Now you can see it cuts it down in our sequence here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my playhead to that point. I'm then going to drag this down right to that point, right click on this point in the work area and hit trim comp to work area. So now we've cut the clip down exactly where we need it. All right, so now we're going to find the 3D camera tracker. So what you want to do is make sure your footage is selected. You're then going to go to Effects and Presets. You're then going to type in 3D camera. It's going to pop up under the perspective folder. You're then going to take the 3D camera tracker and drag that right over. As you can see, it's analyzing in the background. It shouldn't take too long. There we go. It is solved. And as you can see, we have these tracking points all around here. They look like targets, or they are targets rather. I'm going to show you guys a quick little pro tip. This is something that I noticed not very many people know about. As you can see, the shot type shows as fixed angle of view. We have three options here: fixed angle of view, variable zoom, and specify angle of view. Fixed angle of view is correct for this because we're not zooming in. We're walking forward, but we're not zooming our lens in and out. But a little pro tip here, if you go to Google and you type in the lens that you used for that specific shot. So for this specific shot, I was using the Laowa 9mm. And if you type in your lens and then after you type in angle of view, you're going to get this number here. Now this number, 113 degrees. So if we take that number and we go back to After Effects, we click where it says fixed angle of view and go down to specify angle of view. After Effects assumes that the angle of view is 95.1, which it's not, because we just looked it up. It's 113, at least for my lens. It's obviously going to be different for your lens. But if we take that and we type in 113, hit enter, it's going to solve the camera. It's not going to redo everything. It's just going to solve it. Everything's been done. And now everything is way more accurate because it knows the exact angle of view of that specific lens that you were using. Now, usually After Effects does a pretty good job of doing it on its own, but if you want to be extra, just spot on, go to Google and look up your lens's angle of view. All right, so now that we have this, what we're going to do is we're going to find a point that we want to use. So as you can see, when we scroll over here and we see these targets, they're connected from three different tracking points. If we move forward, we'll see different tracking points on the ceiling. We'll see it at different places on the garage door itself, on the lights, everywhere. So you can use these targets to place things on the wall. I'm going to show you right now. If I take, all right, let me find one that I like here. I like that. The angle looks like it may be a little bit off, but that's okay. We can fix that. Once you've clicked it, you want to right click and hit create solid and camera. So as you can see, that creates a solid, a square. Now the angle doesn't match the wall, and that's something that we can control here. If we just select our layer, we can control the angle. So I'm going to line that up the best I can to the wall, right about there. Now if I wanted to move it a little bit left, I can take the X axis here, move it that way, move it back this way. So now that we've created the solid, you can see it's stuck to the wall. Now let's actually put something on the wall. So the first thing you want to do is you want to go to that solid and you want to right click and hit pre-compose. Make sure it's leave all attributes in 3D camera tracking tutorial or whatever the name of your composition is. Hit OK. And I'm just going to rename this so I know. So first solid. By pre-composing it, we've created another composition. Now obviously we don't want this pink square in here, so we're going to get rid of that. But the cool thing is, because this is a new composition, we can actually change this composition to whatever we want. So if we go up to composition settings, and I'm going to uncheck this lock aspect ratio, because whatever I change it to, it's going to lock it 1:1. So if I do 1350, it's going to be 1350 by 1350, and that's not what we want. So we're going to uncheck this. We're going to go to width, and we're going to change it from 1350 to 1350 to 1080 by 1350. And this is what Instagram's dimensions are for photos. So if you click that, click OK, and now we have that. Now the solid here is still on our wall. We want to get rid of that. So if we go back here, we're going to just delete that. I'm then going to take a photo that I got from unsplash.com and I'm going to drag that in here. Obviously this is a little bit too big, so if you want to resize something, you're going to grab the corner and then hit shift and drag it down. So now if we go here, that should be attached to our wall. How cool is that? All right, let's keep going. We're going to move forward here and we are going to choose another spot. So what you want to do is you want to click your garage layer or whatever layer, your bottom main layer that you're using. You're going to go back to effect controls and then select 3D camera tracker. And that's going to bring the points back up. So I am going to choose here. You're going to click that again. You're going to right click and go to create solid. As you can see, that solid does not match up with the actual wall itself. So we're just going to adjust the angle there and just adjust it until you feel like it looks right. We're going to bring it down as well. So this green arrow on top, that's your Y axis, that can bring it up and down. I wouldn't recommend messing with the Z axis because what that's going to do is that's going to pull it off the wall. Unless that's something that you want, you can. So I'll actually show you as an example here. If you want, you can pull this off the wall and then you can turn it. And now we're going to fly straight through that. We're just going to move forward, move forward, move forward. We go right through that rectangle. We don't want that though. We want it on the wall, but you can definitely do that if you want something just floating freely in space. That's all these things. I recommend when you jump in and when you're following this tutorial and doing this in After Effects, I recommend that you go and just mess around and you're going to get the hang of it. So the same thing again, we have our track solid here. We're going to right click. We're going to go to pre-compose and we're going to name this to second solid. I'm going to double click that. We're going to change the composition. We'll just change it to 1920 by 1080. So 1920 by 1080, and then delete this right here. Then take another photo that I got from Unsplash, and we're just going to click here, drag, hold shift. I like that. That looks good. So now we have that layer. So we have the first photo that we used, and then the second photo. Pretty dang cool, right? You can do this with anything. You can reposition these wherever you want. Like I said, you can bring this out here, you can turn it here, you can just move straight through the waterfall. It's super awesome. So now we're gonna work with some text here. What we're gonna do is we're gonna find that point that we want the text to kind of appear. So I'm happy about here. I'm gonna hit the garage layer again, go back to my effect controls and click 3D camera tracker. We're gonna put some text on this wall here. We're gonna do that just there. We're gonna click these 3 points. We just click right in the center, right click. Instead of create solid, we're gonna hit create text. We're gonna just move that a little bit more this way towards us. And also, if you don't wanna manually do it from here, you can always just click your specific layer, this little arrow here, hit transform, and all of your X, Y, and Z rotations are right there. So you can adjust that. So we're gonna bring this down. There we go. Now it looks like it's a little bit more on the wall. So let's say you want it to kind of come in. You don't want it to be there the entire time. Super easy way, a way that I like to do it is I just like to find the place where I want the text to appear, and I'm just gonna drag this layer over. So now it's not there until this specific point. Let's say we want to add some cool effects to this. What you can do is you can go to your effects presets, type in typewriter, drag that onto your layer. As you can see, when we use the typewriter, it's going to be really slow typing in. So what you can do is make sure your text layer is selected, hit U. We're going to drag these over because for some reason it doesn't want to start until here. As you can see, it's super slow. And the way we can speed that up is take this end keyframe here. We're going to just drag that to the first one. And that'll speed everything up. Also, if you want to add a glow, you can add a glow to this layer. So if you just type in glow in your effects and presets, drag that onto the layer as well. And let's just add a cool just add a glow. I'm gonna change the text too. So we're gonna double click it, put hello. There you go. So if we go through, and there we go. We have everything tracked to the wall. All right, guys, that is it. That is how you track anything to a wall in After Effects. All right, let's get back to my face. All right, guys, that is it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, please make sure you hit the like button below and also hit subscribe if you enjoyed this kind of content. Also, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them as soon as possible.